Sometimes a film doesn't just cross lines, it burns them. It's not made to please or comfort, but to challenge, provoke, and make you question what it even means to be human. Titane, released in 2021 and directed by Julia Ducournau, is exactly that kind of film. Bold, disturbing, and mesmerizing, it's a story that refuses to fit into any single box. It's not horror, not drama, not sci-fi. It's all of them, colliding like metal and flesh. A little girl named Alexia distracts her father during a drive. As she removes her seatbelt, he turns around to scold her. And in that instant, a terrible crash occurs. Alexia survives but suffers a serious head injury and receives a titanium plate in her skull. When she returns home, something within her shifts. She withdraws from her parents and feels an inexplicable connection to machines, especially to cars. Years later, Alexia, now an adult with a scar running along the side of her head, performs as a dancer at a motor show. Her movements are magnetic, mechanical, yet full of life. One night after a show, an overly eager admirer follows her outside and crosses a line. Alexia defends herself, leaving him dead. Shaken, she returns to the showroom and senses something surreal. The car she performed with earlier seems to respond to her presence. Drawn by an unseen force, she steps inside, and what happens next blurs the line between human and machine, between body and metal. In the days that follow, we discover that Alexia has been living a dangerous secret life. Her parents remain unaware, but the distance between them grows impossible to ignore. At a house party, Alexia grows close to one of her co-workers, but something strange begins to happen. Her body reacts in ways she cannot explain. She later realizes she's pregnant, and in a moment of panic, she tries to stop it herself but fails. Desperate, she leaves the scene behind and vanishes into the night. Now wanted by the police, Alexia takes a drastic step. She changes her appearance, cutting her hair, reshaping her face, and binding her body to resemble a missing boy named Adrien Legrand, who disappeared a decade earlier. When she turns herself in, claiming to be Adrien, the boy's father, Vincent, a fire captain, accepts her without hesitation. He refuses to question or test her identity. For him, the return of his lost child is a miracle, and he chooses belief over truth. Vincent brings Adrien home to live with him and his team of firefighters. The men are puzzled by the captain's behavior and by the quiet, withdrawn newcomer, but they stay silent out of respect. Vincent treats Alexia with unconditional love, clinging to the hope that this is truly his son. Over time, an unexpected bond begins to form between them. Vincent, who is struggling with aging and fading strength, pushes his body through punishing routines. Alexia, hiding her identity and the changes happening inside her, finds herself drawn to his vulnerability. Despite the lies and the danger, something real begins to grow, a connection beyond explanation. When Vincent's estranged ex-wife visits, she immediately senses the truth, but chooses compassion over confrontation. She asks Alexia to take care of Vincent, knowing how fragile his hope has become. Eventually, Vincent admits to himself that Adrien isn't really his son, but his love doesn't break. "Whoever you are," he tells her, "you are my child." At a celebration in the fire station, the crew encourages Adrien to dance. Alexia falls back into her old rhythm, her movements hypnotic and haunting. The crowd watches in stunned silence. Vincent quietly leaves, his heart caught between love and loss. As time passes, Alexia's body begins to transform. her skin and strength changing in strange, almost mechanical ways. When her pregnancy nears its end, she reveals her true identity to Vincent and pleads for his help. In a powerful and heartbreaking conclusion, Alexia gives birth. The effort takes her life, but in her place, a child is born. Part human, part something beyond. Vincent holds the newborn close, whispering softly through tears, "I'm here." What follows isn't about gender or violence anymore. It's about love and acceptance in their rawest, most broken forms. Vincent takes Alexia in, believing she's his lost son. He doesn't ask questions. He doesn't look beneath the disguise. And somehow, through all the confusion and pain, something profoundly human begins to emerge. Not romantic, not familial, but deeply spiritual. Titane isn't an easy watch. It's intense, surreal, and deeply unsettling. But beneath the chaos and the shock, it's tender, a story about transformation, about finding love and identity in places where the world refuses to look. Julia Ducournau crafts a cinematic language where the body becomes a metaphor, where pain and rebirth intertwine, and where identity is fluid, ever shifting, ever evolving. It's grotesque and beautiful at the same time. The film sparked both outrage and admiration. Some called it genius, others called it madness. It won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, making Ducournau only the second woman in history to receive that honor. Yet in some countries it faced heavy censorship, not simply because of its mature content, but because it refused to obey moral boundaries. It questioned everything: gender, identity, desire, and humanity, in ways that made audiences deeply uncomfortable. But maybe that's what makes Titane unforgettable. It's not trying to shock for attention. It's trying to reveal something raw and honest about transformation, about the connection between body and soul, about the painful beauty of being human. In a world that craves simple answers, Titane gives us fire, steel, and vulnerability. It asks, what truly makes us human? Our bodies, our love, or the pain that shapes us? And when the credits roll, you're left with silence, the kind that comes only after something deeply real. Because Titane isn't just a film, it's a wound, a pulse, a mirror. It dares you to look, and once you do, you can't look away.